Good day, viewers, and welcome to the first edition of the Youth Arena program, reaching you from the Advent Cable Network Nigeria. I'm still your host, Juliet Onwumere. The saying, youths are the leaders of tomorrow, is an aphorism that contradicts the leadership monopoly practiced by the aging Nigerian kleptocrats. Because the Nigerian government of present is led by genontocrats, whom have continued to sideline the youth in the political and economic climate of Nigeria. Hence, leadership is portrayed as the right of the elderly in Nigeria, irrespective of the societal changes since independence. They have made participation and representation of the youth in politics in this present-day Nigeria unattainable and inaccessible, with policies that alienate the youth. So viewers, this brings us to our topic of discussion today, which says youth involvement in Nigerian politics, the way forward. With me in the studio are young, vibrant politicians who are here to share their experiences of what is really happening in the political corridor of this country, Nigeria. They are Comrade Virgins Onyenze Kelechi, former Senate President, National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, Diaspora, and a youth activist. Also in the studio is Honorable Ifeanyi Uzochukwu, a former councillorship aspirant, Karu World, Abuja, and current chairman, Labour Party, Ahmad. You're welcome to
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I will start with you. What gave you the interest to vie for this position?
Of course, having seen a lot of politics being played in Nigeria, especially by those who should have actually taken the back seat for the younger generation to be in front while they guide us, I felt it was time for the youth. And at that time, I became interested that I should actually come out. Somebody should be able to speak for the youth. Somebody should be able to speak for his or her generation. And I chose to come out at that time.
All right. Talking about playing politics, do you think that is a dirty game as it has been misquoted? Did you play the dirty game? I
did not play the dirty game, although it depends on what people call dirty. Okay. Because if you are in the mud, of course you should get dirty.
Of course.
But you can choose either to be in the mud or not to be in the mud. And I choose not to be in the mud with those who preferred playing in the mud. So politics is neither here nor there, although predominantly in Nigeria as it stands today, most of those who occupy political offices or those who vie for political offices are ready to play it even dirty, to the extent that people can be killed, people can be maimed, and so on. But the Christians, the young ones, those who know they have something to offer, can avail themselves that opportunity to come out. Everybody cannot play dirty because others are playing dirty. You take a stand and stand by whatever you have agreed with your God. That is how the stand you want to take, and you hold on to it.
All right, let's say there is still a side of dirty game in the business of politics.
Of course. When you are working or you are competing with a mixed crowd, you cannot expect everyone to be like you. If you have chosen to take the right step to stand for integrity, there are people who can't match you on that, and so they can play the devil's advocate.
All right. Okay, Virgins, being a Senate of the Nigerian youth president, do you think that the youth as the leaders of tomorrow should still be what will be in the mindset of the youth in this contemporary time?
Thank you for this platform. Before I answer this, let me buttress a little on the politics being a dirty game. To my own opinion, I want to categorically state this to correct the erroneous impression of people stating that politics is a dirty game, but rather put that politics is not dirty, but the way we play it in a dirty way. You understand? Because people with that that phrase get to mislead the public by saying it's dirty. By so doing, you're trying to make people isolate themselves in the participation of political proceedings or processes.
Okay.
So I won't accept that fact that politics is a dirty game. Now, secondly, to your question, if youth involvement, I don't know.
I said youths are the leaders of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right from when we are kids, we keep hearing it.
The youth are the leaders of today, not tomorrow.
Okay.
Children are the kids, the children are the leaders of tomorrow, while the youths are the leaders of
Okay,
today.
you're now giving your own statement
Yes,
now.
for now, because gone are those days where we'll be looking and thinking that the youth cannot do better in the political component of governance. You understand? We can actually do better. How old was Obasanjo when he ruled us previously as the head of state? The late sage Obafemi Awolowo was how old? You understand? Anthony Enaro and the likes. You understand? So it's not about the age per se now, but I just feel that the youth were capable and we're also ready.
Okay, let's rate the interest of the youth in today's governance, and what could be the cause of this political apathy among the youth?
Political apathy.
Yeah.
So many factors, discouraging factors like maybe funding, you understand, and enlightenment. Like they've not really gotten the opportunity to understand why they need to be involved in politics, you understand. One of our great philosophers states, and I quote, he said, the nation is not bad, or it's not in a bad condition because of the bad people in it, but it is like that because of the good people that refuse to vote. So that means in participating in governance. So now those youths, now they've not really enlightened them about the importance and the expediency for them to be involved in politics. You understand? So my point is, if you are educating them about the importance, why they need to get involved, you understand, educate them more why they need to participate in this thing, because the price tag of why the cost price of this wristwatch in the market is political. So you need to make that person understand that the price of this thing is political.
You know, okay, some person will say, why should I go and vote when my vote does not count?
Okay, fine. That shouldn't be a discouraging factor. That because your vote is not, they will tell you your vote is not, will not be counted. No, the votes of the electorate definitely will count, and that is the will of the people that the INEC will definitely announce at the end of the day. Yes.
All right. Uzochukwu, do you? We are talking about being franchised, the right to vote and be voted for, and the interest of youth in political participation. Do you think that the mediocrity in today's politics is the reason why the youth don't even have interest in involving in the politics of Nigeria?
Well, I think it goes far beyond just mediocrity, because quite a lot is happening. Quite a lot has happened. If you've had two former heads of state who were military heads of state return back to democratic rule and they are still heads of government, it doesn't give any hope. First of all, he mentioned here Obasanjo, who was the former military head of state, and then you have Buhari, who was also head of state, who in fact he overthrew a sitting head of state and then became military head of state. And both Obasanjo and the same Buhari are currently, one has been a democratic president in Fourth Republic, and then we also have currently now Buhari.
Just like they are trying to compete.
So ordinarily, it doesn't give any hope because as at the time they were heads of state, military heads of state in Nigeria, they were in their youthful age. None of them were up to 40 years.
Less than 35.
Let me just say 40 years. None of them was up to 40 years as at the time they were heads of state. And today, I don't know if you can imagine their ages now. After like 30 something years. And so it ordinarily it doesn't give hope. It doesn't give hope to any young aspiring. So when you are saying youth leaders of tomorrow, we sang it when we were in primary schools.
Yes.
And at secondary school, university, even after graduating, the people who you were when you were still small, you were singing that you are a leader of tomorrow. They are still the ones
on the seat.
So it's ordinarily, it creates that apathy that there is no hope for you as a young person.
Of course. All right. Okay. When you talked about the president, the current president of Nigeria, being in politics when he's not gotten at this youthful age, and former President Obasanjo, and do you think that then there was a criteria set for them to be involved in politics, which is being eroded from the present youth?
Was there any criteria? They were military, just like I mentioned. Obasanjo, although I don't have the history now, how he became the military head of state, but he tried to hand over to civilian government, which Buhari overthrew.
Okay.
Because he thought he had more or something better to offer Nigeria. And he was also overthrown because apparently he had nothing to offer. And so I think still there wasn't any criteria. Okay. There wasn't. In fact, I said that if we should talk about criteria, it was when we had somebody like Nnamdi Azikiwe and so on, who tried to set the standard. If we were really interested in running good governance in Nigeria, they had some standard. They said they were the ones who fought for our independence. And so they had the standard. They had something in mind they wanted to offer Nigeria. And Nigeria at that time, when Nigeria got independence, we were on a good pedestrian. We were far ahead of many nations of the world. But today, who are we?
We are going backward.
It's like when others are running forward, you are putting every energy to run backward.
You're dragging your legs.
It's not dragging legs. I mean, you are running backward.
Okay.
So it's a sorry situation, but we can still come out of it.
One of the laws will say if you are a convict, that person is disqualified from running any political position. But we have a series of current and former presidents who were convicted before now, and they still standing as a political aspirant, and they won the position and led us, or are still leading us. So what do you think of that? Is it not being fair to the youth?
Let us not just narrow it to the presidency. There have been several other politicians who have had bad records that if in a same country, like in the UK now, Boris Johnson, just because he attended a party when there was lockdown, people are shouting for his resignation. Okay. So Nigeria, that one is like my Kamu case. You don't even. That one is like it's like you are telling the politician why won't he eat with his people, and they can deal with that. One is not even a case, but as small as something like that in a sane country. Because as a leader, you are a symbol of integrity. You are a symbol of honor. You are a symbol of righteousness.
A public figure. I'm
just talking about what a leader symbolizes. Okay. And so people should, so if you say lockdown, everybody should lock down. Nobody, there are people who had their family members, they couldn't go to see their family members. There are people who had dead members of the family that they could not see because there was restriction of movement. Yes. Yet a prime minister had to go partying at that time. But it's not something you discuss in Nigeria here. There are so many, so that one is just a little. So I think by and large, the youth still have opportunity.
Okay.
They still have opportunity to correct the wrongs of the older ones. Okay. But we have to make it a point of duty that it is now our time.
All right. Okay. All right, Virgins, when we talk about running for a political position, and you also have been there, do you think that it involves high financial costs? Because we want to strike a balance whereby that what is really making these youths not to have interest? Is it because of the high cost of running election, or what?
Of course. Of course.
Okay.
Money, funding, finance is a factor in the political processes.
But do you think it should be so? Because I used to think it's the government that funds all those things.
If it should be so. Of course, we use money to do so many things. We use money to pay for your forms, nomination forms, expression of interest also, to run campaigns, media, publicity, campaigns, posters, and the rest. It's not joke. You're not coming to play. When it's time for campaign, you're a serious personality. You are in for the business. That's when I see the youth. Some of them, they will come and they want to contest for the #1 office of the land. You are wrong. You are joking. You are playing.
So that means
you've not done anything. What are your antecedents? You've not contested for a particular office that can also spur you to greatness, to that particular place you are going to. You just want to go to the #1 seat office. You think that place is a joke? No, it's not. I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but it's not joke. Imagine paying party agents maybe 5,000 or 10,000 times 120 polling unit. All the polling unit to watch over your vote for 120,000 thereabout. Times the 10,000 times those parties, how much you will pay them. That one is for party agent alone. I'm talking that one is for the election day. It will be running into billions that you want to pay them.
And when you, sorry for cutting, when you say watching your votes, that means there might be a point where your vote can be tampered, the votes of the citizenry can be tampered on.
Of course, in this system.
But it's not supposed to be so.
No, the system has allowed it already. Before we leave that space, it will take time, though we're getting there. But for now, since that's the system, you have to look for a solution, a way of guiding your vote, securing your vote. For crying out loud, you cannot just bring out people are there to vote for you, to cast their vote for you, and you will just allow everything just go that way.
Okay, no, don't you think that this high cost of contesting election makes them to have the mindset that when they get there, they only have to fill their pocket first, trying to sideline the national interest of getting to that position? They will have their self-interest at heart first.
Yes, in one way, it can be reduced. Maybe the rules that is guiding the getting of electoral, the forms and whatever. But there are some things you can't just reduce because of the way the economy is. You understand? Imagine me going to UTC. I want to print out poster and banner. What's the business of the young man there in UTC? Do you understand?
Okay.
That one now is the economic factor that is making the cost of printing the poster, the cost of maybe doing those things in UTC to be expensive. It's not his problem. What the government can do through the this regulatory body like INEC is to reduce, is to lay down rules for these political parties that, okay, the form for so and so office should be reduced to so and so amount. The cost of this should be reduced to so amount. That's where you can handle those areas that you can't handle, like the one of maybe the media, whatever, printing of polos, cap, and the rest, which we know they are also key, because there's no how you want to do campaign and you will not put out your posters for people to see.
Okay.
You understand? These are the things you do for them to be able to know that, okay, this is so and so person, and recognize you that, okay, we are voting and campaigning for so and so person. So money is really a factor. If you don't have the money, for crying out loud, why are you going there? It shows you are not ready. Even if you don't have the 100% finance for that, seek for what's it called, sponsorship.
Okay.
You understand? What have you done in the past for people to come out and support you? I might not have the money to do all the whole campaign myself, but at least I should be able.
That is why I don't buy the idea. Like, if you don't have the money and you've not done it, I don't buy the idea.
I have a bit of contrary opinion.
All right.
It depends on the political parties. When I contested for councillorship, we have in AMAC 12 wards.
Okay.
I was the only candidate that, so to say, was financially buoyant to buy the nomination form.
Okay.
That was because I wanted to commit resources to getting the form. Okay. But the other 11 candidates were given free of charge. Okay. So it depends on the political party. I can tell you for sure that as the AMAC chairman of Labour Party, we did not collect a dime from those who are contesting under Labour Party in AMAC, whether chairman or councillorship. The only challenge about this is that most times, from my experience, some youths the truth about it is that there is what is called goodwill. He mentioned part of it.
Okay.
When you make up your mind, you don't necessarily need to have the resources.
Okay.
You don't necessarily need to have, you can, goodwill from people can actually bring about the support you need.
Okay.
I know how much I spent when I contested, because the truth is that you need money.
Right.
You need to, besides the, of course, you host a lot of meetings where people strategize on how to win an election. It's a serious game.
Okay.
You need to strategize. Most of the meetings we hosted, some people financed even the refreshment on my behalf without, not that I did not have the resources.
On their own free will.
On their own free will. There are people who played several roles, because sometimes people look at your seriousness. And then also, they also look at the office, your capacity to hold the office you are going for. I did not go for AMAC chairman. I did not go for a House of Rep or Senate. Sometimes you need to start from the grassroots. There are people, you need to build your experience from the grassroots up. So as at that, then I did at the council, and because of how the weight I pulled at that level, I was elected in a Congress as the AMAC chairman of Labour Party. Okay. So those are the things. So number one is not really about the money. First of all, it has to do with you making up your mind that you want to contest. Okay. When you make up your mind, there are people of goodwill who can support, who can sponsor you. Okay. But it's not the money. It's like now, everybody talks about unemployment. Some people will say they want to start business. Okay. And then you tell the person, why haven't you started? The person will tell you it's because of money. And then you tell the person, now, if I give you money, which business are you going to? That's when the person will now realize that he has not even had a plan of a business he's going to go into. Some people will tell you that they will go into this one because they don't have a head knowledge that at least they need to mention something. All right. So it's not the resources. First of all, it's your mindset. Are you ready? If you are ready, if you are ready, you can speak, and you can speak boldly to some people of high repute. They can support you.
All right. Thank you for that. And Virgin, when you were speaking, you talked about campaigning. So do you want to tell me now, and the viewers are that if you don't have, or if you are not financially buoyant enough, you can't campaign. Campaigning in Nigerian politics, they believe is sharing rice, sharing wrappers, sharing, trying to buy the should I say, we call it mid-birth crisis of the populace, which is not supposed to be so. So we want to strike a balance whereby if there is a youth out there who has it in mind to contest for election, being that you've been there before, let's try to tell them what is involved.
Of course, we are trying our best. Okay. In telling them what is involved. Okay. And the ones that I'm seeing, if you're serious, I encourage you, I support you. Okay. You understand? But the ones that are not serious, I tell you what is there. I calculated something for you now, just on the election day. Yeah. Your party agent, definitely, they can't be there from morning till night without you giving them, even if it's 1 naira. Now, times 5,000, times those that will stay in 120 for presidential seat, for 120,000 polling booths. It's going to millions, billions, say, for crying out loud. Where will you get that kind of money from? Now you don't have the money, and you are coming out that you want to contest for president. Please now, let us be realistic and rational here. Now you can't do that one. Why not start from, like he said, that's my problem with them. Why not start from the grassroots, the local level? You just see all of them, all the youth, they want to go to a particular office.
Okay, they want to job step one.
No, but it's a process. Okay. I started from somewhere in school. Right. As a student active, I started from somewhere to contest from the departmental level. Okay. Do you understand? I didn't just go as a Senate president to become a Senate president of NAS diaspora. Okay. For crying out, it's a process. So what I'm telling them is that let them start from where their hand can reach. With this finance of a thing, you can't just go there. Imagine Patutome coming out for president. Okay. For crying out loud, Patutome would have been better off contesting as a senator in a state. Do you know he can cover that place? and he will win his election.
Start striking a change from there.
Do you understand? But imagine Patutomi telling us he wants to be the president. Oga, how do you want to do it?
Okay.
Do you understand?
All right.
The likes of all of them like that. Imagine even the likes of what I say Kingsley Mongalu. We know.
Even this artist, Yo Edochie, something like
that one too, like that. So
okay.
Just check all the. Yes, they are youth. I'm not saying it is bad for them to show interest in political offices, but start from somewhere. What are your antecedents, for crying out loud? Imagine Yaya Bello, look at how he's messing up and down today. As a youth, it's not all about the youth or the age, for crying out loud. Yaya Bello is doing rubbish there, for crying out loud. As a youth.
Okay, will it be the reason why the age don't want to leave the office?
That's part of their reason. Because he's now representing us in a bad image, for crying out loud.
All right.
Like, he didn't even have the from nowhere.
Okay.
God.
Oh, let's hold it there. Let's hold it. We'll be going on. All right, viewers, we'll be going on a short break. You've heard it all. Politics is a process. Try to start from the grassroots so that you can get to where you want to be. Just stay tuned until we come back from this break.
Beaming from the nation's capital, we bring to you the good news through various programming, news updates, worship, and teachings.
The paralysis of sin makes us to be separated from God.
Contact us for your live streaming solutions and event coverage, such as synods, conferences, seminars, revivals, and lots more. Engage us in showcasing your brands and services to the world through adverts and sponsorship. We also offer latest broadcast equipment for rent, all at affordable prices. Tune in to ACNNTV via any free-to-air decoder with the following installation parameters: Intelsat 20 satellite with tuning frequency 12562 MHz, symbol rate 30 Mbps, orbital position 68.5 degree east, and horizontal polarization. You can also keep in touch with episodes of our programs via these social media platforms. For inquiries, please call 070-3265-6544 or mail us via inquiries@acnntv.com. ACNN, reaching the world with the undiluted Word of God.
Welcome back, viewers. It has been an interesting time with my guest in the studio, Ifeanyi Uzochukwu and Virgins. And you've heard it all. They said politics is a process. Try to have your interest in politics and start from the grassroots level. All right, Uzochukwu, being a one-time candidate, do you think, and going back to what happened in 2020, do you think the NSAS protest has served or will serve as an eye-opener to the youth come 2023?
It has actually served as an eye-opener of the potentials of youths if they make up their mind to join forces.
Okay.
It was not only Nigeria that shook by that protest. The world, in fact, was watching, all eyes all over the world was watching Nigeria. And I think if we will maintain that tempo, although because somehow there was a misconception that it was about overthrowing or removing the president from office. We had all these touts and so on who somehow got in the way, and the story turned out very bad. But I think 2023, the youth can still do it again. But I would rather that the youth not only come out to vote, the youth can come out for elective office. Now, there is a challenge I have. We have not done enough. We are still, maybe as a Christian body, coming from a Christian background, we have not yet enlightened our people very well. There is need for a grassroots sensitization. Let me tell you something. When I contested as a councillorship candidate, I had party agents, including youth from the church, But I can tell you for sure that on the election day, most of the youths, the Christian youths, are involved. I was to pay them actually as party agents. I had given that assurance, but I did not see them.
What could be the cause?
Yes, now
is it a sin to involve?
No, as you with the opening statement about politics is a dirty game and so on. So they did not want it dirty.
Okay.
And whatever it is, because the truth is that whatever it is that we are seeing today in Nigeria, whatever challenge we're having, we deserve it. Okay. When you don't play the politics, when you don't come out to vote, and let me tell you, you know, you mentioned earlier that votes, do they really count? Okay. If it does not count, why do they hijack ballot boxes? But because they had to do it by hijacking the ballot box and rig it. What is in the ballot box that they are carrying? Is it an empty box? But there's one that they will bring empty voter whatever to. What I'm telling you is that it is the people's votes that are in those ballots. If those votes are not counted, if they are not important, they won't come. They will not come for it. Okay.
So it will count.
It counts. Especially when people stand up. Okay, like they just concluded Anambra state election. It was obvious. Anybody who is going to court. The Biafran secessionists were trying to say sit at home. To be surprised. I think that was the rerun election. But the actual election, people came out to vote. And let me tell you, as a result of what happened in Anambra, if INEC will maintain that standard, I'm telling you the truth that the youths, the people you think that they will not come out, they will, because one of the major reasons for voter apathy is that you know the number of people that voted in a particular polling unit. Probably there are 5, and you heard that when they call result, you hear that you have 500. The major reason is because people did not even come out. So the politicians have the field there to thumbprint and put this in. But when you have people turn out in their numbers, you see that the only way the politicians can break into that place is to hijack the ballot boxes. That tells you that the ballot box, there must be something in that ballot box that makes them to want to hijack it. Okay. So just going back to your point, the NSAS protest is a good one. But even though the tempo has died down because of suppression and a lot of things that has happened around it, but 2023 is another opportunity. All right. Vegas, so what are we expecting from the youth come 2023? Or are you one of the candidates? Maybe you're my presidential candidate. So what are we expecting from the youth?
I'm not contesting for now. I'm not contesting till when God decide and call me.
Is it God that will take the decision?
It's God that will call me. Like some of our men of God will say, it's God called me. So I'm also waiting for God to also call me on that regard.
Okay.
And then what we are expecting generally or for the youth.
The youths, especially those in the church, that think that if they participate in politics, they've sinned.
Actually, in that regard, that's where our religious fathers have a role to play. They have a lot of work to do. We are begging. I'm a born Anglican by conception. Not even by birth, if you know what that means. Yeah. Now, before my mother's family, father's family, before they even do you understand?
Even to talk of it, politics started in the church.
That's where I'm coming. Okay. So now, I'm just calling out and begging our fathers in the Lord, because they have a big role to play for the good dividends of Nigeria to start coming out, which will start before the election. So we are begging in our fellowship, our various churches, especially with the Anglicans, aside from the normal, the other Pentecostal, Catholic, and the other denominational churches. Fine, they also have those things to do with their congregation. But I'm just talking from this angle as an Anglican. Please, we are begging that they should please, even on the pulpit, they should help us for sensitization, to talk to the congregation. Even when you are preaching, just throw the words, put it in them. It's not just based on salvation, where other things. Yes, fine, those ones are important. But then, this government and governance need to be instilled in them. Talk to them about it. Make them understand the importance, the expediency to be in politics, to participate in governance, for crying out loud. Election is coming. Talk to us. We are begging our priests to please talk to us. They should talk to us.
All right.
That's what I want to say. Because you can't take away politics
from the church, from everything entirely.
I tell people that the price tag of this thing is political.
Of
it's
course.
determined by the leadership of those in power, even as small as
Abraham Lincoln said,
do you
we
understand?
are political animals.
So we can't run away, even in our family.
Of course.
Do you know your father cannot have the same love he have for you for other people? It's political. You don't know. You think you have equal love. You don't know. Ask him here now. You're so married.
Okay.
So there's this room for politics, even in our family. That small unit.
Yeah.
Politics is also
manipulate,
there.
to influence.
So that process where you manipulate your dad to collect money is being political. That's a process.
All right.
It's not only in the country.
May I just chip in something? You know, just back to youth in politics. By the grace of God, I'm a youth. As a chairman of a party at the local level, we had the area council election that is coming up. We had a meeting where we had to sign peace accord, all the chairmen of the different political parties. There were two statements, two persons made in that meeting, which I corrected them.
Okay.
If not that, one, I'm a Christian, and if not that, number two, I'm a youth, and if not that, number three, I was part of it, some people would have gone back with that misconception. Number one, somebody rose up and said that they are the main indigenes of Abuja.
Okay.
That all these foreigners will come and go, and so they know themselves that they are on ground.
See.
I told him, sir, please, when you say foreigners, is it people from Niger or people from Cameroon? Because you cannot be calling a Nigerian a foreigner. Please, let me make this point. And then I said that the challenge we have in Nigeria is this issue of tribalism and the religion and so on. He was playing the tribal card.
Okay.
That others are. And I told him, most of those who are in Abuja here have their lifetime investment in Abuja here. So they are major stakeholders. Yeah. So if anything should happen to their resources or their investment in Abuja, they are done for.
Okay.
So you cannot say that they cannot. Okay, sometime when Nigeria was still growing in democracy, somebody was the mayor of Enugu State, a Hausa, a Northerner, and a Muslim.
Okay.
Was the mayor. Even in Kano, you can have even chairman of local government from the east.
Okay.
So why are we now killing ourselves? And then unfortunately, the person you say he's an indigene, who you now bring up and you force him on the people, who finally will not deliver.
Fail them, yeah.
Then number two, somebody stood up and said, one doctor something, that unfortunately that is the Christians that are using religion against to play. The Christians are the ones who are using religion and so on to spoil this politics and so on. That is unfortunate. I stood up. I told him, sir, because in that meeting were Muslims. In that meeting were different people from different background. I told him, number one, and that is the good thing about youth being very active in the church and also being active in politics. I told him I'm a youth leader.
Okay.
In a church that has its branches in almost every part of FCT. That one of the campaigns in the church is that it's not only that you're a Christian, that you will be voted in for whatever political office, that you must have antecedents that people can follow. And there is serious campaign in the church for people to get their PVC, even though we are not yet doing that. But you needed to correct something so that people will not just go with wrong impression.
All right.
See the Christians as the bad egg in Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Virgins. Yeah. I want to know, how can we have a working and organized system for the youth in order to have more of their participation in politics? You know, when you mentioned the high cost of contesting elections, is there any way the lawmakers can strike a balance and say, for the youths, for them to come into politics, there should be a low cost for them? You know, I don't know, how can you think we can make it a working system?
Yeah, we can. Even if the National Assembly cannot do that, the political parties can actually do that.
In order to involve in all tiers of government.
The political party has the right
to
also look for a level playing ground for the youth. Like, I know of some political parties that will tell you, okay, if you're a woman that want to get so particular form in their party, they will reduce the cost of getting that form for you as a woman, but the men will get it in the normal price. I don't know if you understand.
Okay.
So I know of some political party that is doing that already. So the political party also have a role to play in this, not just the government. They can also strike a balance and say, okay, let's reduce the price of so office, the councillor, the chairmanship, but not them just jumping to the as a gubernatorial aspirant or presidential aspirant, for crying out loud. Let's be realistic. It won't work. There's what they call system. Wait, there's what they call system. People don't understand it though. There's what they call structure.
Okay.
You need to understand the internal dynamics of Nigerian politics. I'm a political science student. I'm a political scientist. I read politics and I'm also in line.
You've been there.
And I'm practicing. No, they say you will study it and you will carry bag. So now I'm carrying bag. So I'm in the process. Because in Igbo they will say, Alabwa Idibo.
Okay.
That's what we are doing now. After contest, I didn't just wake up one day and say I want to contest for social. No, now I'm learning. I'm building myself for that particular office tomorrow. That's what they should be thinking about. Not you just want to wake up one day and you just want to go for presidential seat. For crying out loud, it can't work. So I'm just advising, also using this platform to also tell our youth, it's also good, but let's start from somewhere, for crying out loud. Yes.
Right.
Yes. I don't know if I've answered that question because you said something. I don't know.
Yes, you've answered it. They should start from somewhere, and also the lawmaking body can also strike a balance to reduce the cost.
Yeah, if the lawmakers cannot do it, the political parties can also help in that line.
Please, may I just add that even in organized, even in developed societies, there is still the place of funding.
Okay.
Printing posters, people need to first of all see you. Then, at least with the posters, people need to know you through your campaigns. You don't sit in the house and then pray for God's angel to carry your picture and go and show people in their dreams.
Okay.
People need to see, people need to interact with you.
All right. We are running out of time. I just want you to give the youth advice on their interests and the most important thing they need to bear in mind and why they should involve themselves in politics.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to really thank ACNN for this good opportunity. It's a privilege. I want to tell the youth, the truth about it is that whether we will go forward in Nigeria depends on us. Whether we want to have a society that will grow, a society where merit is a high price possession than mediocrity.
Yeah.
And all the shenanigans we see in Nigerian politics of today. You can actually do it. First, it starts with the state of your mind. If you think you can, it's a quote, it is possible, you are correct. If you think you can't, you are also right. Even God himself cannot come down to force you to doing what you can, that you have made up your mind that it is not possible. Let us come out. First, the INEC has also opened up their portal for registration, for voters registration. Yeah. That is the first thing that you should do. And then second, identify with a political party. Although we are having the challenge of whether direct primaries or indirect primaries, but someday you will have a say in that political party. You must be able to stand somewhere.
All right.
Be identified.
Thank you. Virgins, just briefly, your word for the viewers. Yeah. Briefly.
According to Dele Momodu, one of his articles I read, he said something. He said they are owners of Nigeria.
Okay.
I don't know if you are aware that they are owners of Nigeria.
Okay.
But my advice to the youth is, don't allow the owners of Nigeria stop you from participating in government.
We are all owners of Nigeria.
You understand? No, I'm quoting him now.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. That's just my word for them, because if you say because of the apathy in governance and the majority blah blah blah, that's why you don't want to get involved in it. For crying out loud, you are not doing this generation good.
Okay.
I'm just praying that this our generation will not fail Nigeria. And I'm also praying that our children will not look at our grave when we are gone and spit on our grave because of our failure of not participating in government. Yeah. Let them get involved, participate in the world level, contest elections, start from the local level. Don't just go up. You want to contest for the government, you want to be a gubernatorial aspirant or senatorial candidate, blah, blah. Just start from the local level, get involved, participate in what level, join political party, and be involved in the process for leadership, because once they get into power, they will look back at those that join them in the process and getting to victory. Okay. They will look back and they will go back to their record. Okay. And where will you be by then? For crying out loud. So get involved, my fellow youth. Thanks.
All right. God bless. Thank you for honoring our invitation to the studio. You've heard it all, viewers. It continues with a process and interest. This is your first right to contesting in our election. Start from somewhere. Okay? When you start from somewhere, it gets you to a level where you can exhibit that change you want to have for a long time by bringing a working system to this country. We can do it. You out there can do it. This is much we can take for today until we come your way with fresh episode on youth involvement in politics. Thank you and bye for now.